This is my Charvel Pro Mod SoCal Style 2. I've had this guitar for nearly 6 months. When I first got it, I put up a video on YouTube of me playing it and showing some of the different pickup sounds. So I thought 6 months on is a good time to put up another video and show you how I'm getting on with it and whether I'm still enjoying it. Okay, let's start at this end with the headstock. So the headstock, as you can see, is a reverse Telecaster headstock, which means the tuners are on the underside rather than above. I was a bit worried at first that that was going to be awkward for tuning, but to be honest, I adjusted really quickly. It's not really been a problem for me. The tuners are locking tuners, which I'm sure helps with the tuning stability. More on that topic later on. The neck and the fretboard are made of roasted maple. If you haven't come across that, that's maple wood that essentially gets baked in an oven, and that's supposed to make it a lot more stable when there's changes of temperature, changes of humidity. I can't personally vouch for that. I haven't really taken this guitar out of the house so far, but I am told that if you fly a lot or travel in general with your guitar, then roasted maple does help a lot with the stability. The main advantage, as far as I can tell, is it smells amazing. I didn't realize roasted maple would have this really kind of sweet, almost maple syrup kind of smell, so that's an unexpected bonus in my book. One main difference between this guitar and a more traditional Fender Tele is the fact that it has a tremolo bridge. And it's not just a tremolo, but it's a floating Goto 510 bridge. So that means you can go down in pitch and also up in pitch. This opens the door to all sorts of fun that you could have. You'd normally probably associate these sounds with like a Floyd Rose equipped guitar, for example. For me, the tremolo adds a massive amount of versatility. I use a tremolo a lot in my playing, so it's a massive bonus to be able to get a Telecaster style guitar, but with a floating bridge in there. If you're not into that sort of thing, then I believe Charvel do make the same model, but with a hardtail. But for me, as I say, it's an absolute bonus. There is one disadvantage, which I will get to later on. One of the main reasons I bought this guitar was for the pickups. So this has got Fishman Fluence pickups. If you're not familiar with these pickups, they're active pickups, so there is a 9-volt battery in the back. They're noiseless. They can send a signal on a cable a very long distance without it deteriorating, and you get 3 distinct voices from them. So with this mini toggle switch here in the up position, we're going to get a vintage PAF humbucker tone. And then if we flick that mini toggle switch down the way, we're going to get a modern high output humbucker tone. And then finally, with this push-pull pot on the tone control here, we're going to pull that out. That gives us a single coil, a true single coil tone. So you can see massive variety of different tones you can get between that. That's all just in the middle position with the pickup selector. So on top of that, obviously you can have the neck pickup on its own and the bridge pickup on its own. For me, that's brilliant. I mean, I teach guitar for a living, so to do a day of teaching and use one guitar to demonstrate blues or jazz or heavy metal or anything in between is fantastic. You know, and I don't have the space to have tons of different guitars lying around. So for me, if I'm buying a guitar that's relatively expensive, then it's got to do more than one thing. And this certainly does, largely thanks to these Fishman Fluence pickups. I mentioned the 9-volt battery, so I've only had to change it once after about 5 months of playing, and I play nearly every day, so it's had a lot of use. It's worth mentioning that the battery will always be on when the jack cable is plugged in, so you got to get in the habit. If you've got Fishman Fluence pickups or any other active pickups, you got to take your jack cable out of the guitar when you finish playing, and then only put it back in when you're going to play next. There is a battery pack you can buy, a rechargeable battery pack from Fishman, which I think you can charge, I believe it's USB or with an iPhone charger or something. If you've got one of those, leave a comment, because I'd be quite interested to know if you think it's worth it. Nothing life-changing here, but worth giving an honourable mention to the output jack, which is angled up the way. So you can see you put the cable in this way, which means if you're sitting down with the guitar as I am just now, it's a lot more comfortable than having a jack cable pointing out here. It's going out this way instead. It does mean you have to use a straight jack rather than a 90-degree one, and it's great if you put your cable through your strap up and round, so that when you're standing up or you're on a stage, if someone steps on your cable, it's not likely to pull it out of the guitar. So just a nice little design feature there from Charvel. Overall setup on the guitar was good, straight out of the box. I did adjust the intonation a little bit, which is easy to do. Action feels good. You change string gauge, so it comes fitted with 9 to 42 strings, and I've changed up to 10 to 46, which is just my preference. If you do that, then you do have to adjust the springs in the back, tighten them up in order to keep that tremolo nice and flat, but again, very easy to do. There was one major problem at first, which was tuning stability, and it was not great, to be honest, which is not what you want from a guitar that's relatively expensive. Whenever I used the whammy bar in particular, or did a big string bend, invariably one of the strings would end up slightly out of tune. I've done a couple of things which I think have helped that massively. The first thing was I fitted some roller string trees, so you can get these on eBay. Replaced the standard string trees with these. These have got little rollers which the string sits underneath, and that allows the string to move more freely up and down. The second thing that I did was, when I changed strings, put a little bit of lubricant in the grooves of the nut and in the saddles. So I use this nut sauce, it's called. Comes in a little syringe, and again that just allows more free movement for the string. It's not going to get caught in the nut. And that seemed to make a massive difference. I'm now perfectly happy with the tuning stability. The locking tuners as well help. So if you've got that issue either with this guitar or with another guitar, then try out both of those things and see if that helps. Now, I did say there was one disadvantage of the floating tremolo, and that is if you want to do kind of country style licks, then it puts all the other strings out of tune when you do a string bend, or if you're wanting a drone, then it inevitably puts that lowy string out of tune when you do a string bend. Not a huge problem, but I would like to be able to do sort of country licks and things with it being a Telecaster style guitar. So I believe there is a solution there. You could fit a device called a Tremol-no, and that's like a clamp that goes in with the springs of the tremolo, and then you can lock it, which then essentially turns it into a hardtail guitar. If you've got one of those on whatever kind of guitar, then leave a comment and let me know, firstly, was it easy to fit, and do you think it makes enough of a difference to be worthwhile? Overall, I'm sure you can tell I'm really pleased with this guitar. Absolutely love playing it. I think sometimes we think of Charvel being kind of the guitar for shredders or just for heavy rock, heavy metal styles, but hopefully I've shown in this video that you can use it for all sorts of different styles, amazing amount of different tones you can get from it. So if that's your thing, then I'd certainly highly recommend this guitar. If you want to hear more clips, then have a look back on my YouTube channel. I've used it almost non-stop since I got it for doing recordings and doing YouTube videos and all sorts of stuff. So have a look, and if you've enjoyed this, then please consider subscribing to my YouTube channel. There'll be loads more content coming soon as well. So thanks for watching.